This week in the world of steel fighting, the Northeast took to the list and had some great events. A collection of U.S. fighters traveled across the pond and invaded Castle Claregalway. If you didn't get a chance to see the action and wondering what happened, stay tuned in and get in the know. I'm Ben Sugarman, and the list report starts now. Our report starts in beautiful Castle Claregalway, where a collection of fighters from across the U.S. traveled to Ireland to compete in a singles and melee tournament. U.S. fighters represented the states well, bringing home a number of medals. Samurai walked away with a silver in longsword and a bronze in sword and shield. Jake Schultz walked away with a silver in sword and shield. The two of the top on the West Coast and names you should always look for when in the list. The women showed up hard and made some serious impressions. Taking home an impressive 3 medals, Beth Hammer took silver in polearm and longsword, along with a bronze in sword and shield. Not to be outdone, the women's 5-on-5 won it all, taking home the gold medal. They faced some tough teams from Ireland and England, but proved to be the ultimate war maidens. They even helped fill out the men's team, filling in the final 2 spots on that 5-on-5 team. And this weekend was a busy weekend for New York. Our first event was the Fest of Thrones in East Durham. Although this is a friendly expo and not an official match between the two, Northeast Executioners and Atlantic First Swords met to duke it out. Consisting of 3-on-3, 2-on-2, and some free-for-alls, all the fun match types. And even though this wasn't an official match, the lineup for each of these teams was absolutely stacked. The Executioners brought some of their heavy hitters like Jay Brooks, Kat Brooks, and Brandon Ross. Ringo, Mikey, and Duran had rounded out the speed on the team, with Lane bringing that patented angry face. But not to be outdone, the First Swords answered with an impressive lineup of their own. Team captain Sean Kraken brought the grapplers from New York, Angel and Derek, Baltimore Bash Brothers, Chase and CJ, and Iron Men, Orlando and Logan. And I was pleasantly surprised to see the return of the original captain of First Swords, Big Boy Andrew Tryon. And the league standing was not on the line, but there were a few highlights that kept the viewers on their feet. One of which saw Evan Ringo go to the top rope for an airstrike. No, that was not Rey Mysterio in the sky, but maybe we'll see Ringo down the road fighting for the Cruiserweight belt at WrestleMania. And the event was also a great day for Andrew Tryon, who had nearly taken a year off from steel fighting, but returned with almost no rust. The Giant had an impressive leg sweep and even landed a crucial cross-check on Brandon Ross. Weighing in at 346 pounds and 6'4", Beltweight Giant is back in full form. And meanwhile in Harlem, the Sword Class New York was busy holding a duels tournament. The tournament brought the elite of New York steel fighting for the finals at Fort Tryon the following day. Fort Tryon is one of the staples in the Armored Combat League. Drawing in big crowds every year is always fun to fight in front of, and the fans did not disappoint. The teams fighting were an exhibition, and some of the classics you know in New York steel fighting. The Sentinels and the Orcs made an appearance along with the debut of the Gladiators and the Black Company. And unfortunately, we weren't able to get many details on the brackets, and there isn't a whole lot of video to share. I mean, it's just one of the problems with Bohart in the U.S. There's minimal live streaming, and support for video is slow. But hey, what else is new? But that about wraps up the late September bloodshed here in the U.S. Now, looking at the calendar, October is shaping up to be a month of pure carnage. October 19th at 8 o'clock, the Moose Lodge in South Jersey will be hosting a longsword tournament that will be live streamed here on the Nightlife YouTube channel. Some of the fighters include Ringo and Mikey from the Knights Hall and Malcolm from Pittsburgh Steel Legion. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the action. Now, October 26th will also be a day of pure chaos. Minnesota will be hosting the War in the North tournament, hosted by the Twin City Wyverns. It's going to be a come one, come all to see who will be crowned the king in the North. There's no information yet about if the event will be live streamed, but we'll keep you up to date with any details released. And speaking of, the Northeast will continue their constant brutality with the 3rd annual Blood and Steel. Their First Swords and Executioners will continue their long-standing rivalry for control over the East Coast in some singles, 5-on-5, and 10-on-10 action. Be sure to follow the Knights Hall on Facebook so you stay up to date and how you can catch the action live. And finally, we have Dynamo Cup on November 2nd. Held in Moscow, the tournament is one of the premier tournaments at HMB, only bested by Battle of the Nations. We'll be keeping a close eye on our USA home team, Ordo Draconis. And the event will be live streamed on the WMCF YouTube channel, and the link will be down below. And be sure to subscribe to hear the results and see highlights from these events. And I'll be releasing these news updates about every other week, so if there's an event I'm not tracking or there's an event you would like to hear more about, be sure to follow the Nightlife on Facebook and leave a comment down below. But I want to thank you for tuning in to this week's list report, and as always, stay safe, fighters.